In this video, we're going to be making some tech house like Dom Dolla like this.
I give a rhyme on dust, guaranteed to make it right if your night is a bust. Yeah. I give a rhyme on dust, guaranteed to make it right if your night is a bust. Rhyme dust. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Rhyme dust.
For those of you who are new to the channel, my name is Vlad and I create superstar music producers. If you're interested in music coaching and you want to work on your music production skills, all the links are down below. Feel free to book a call with me or send me a message on Instagram. And without further talking, let's get straight into the video. So the first thing that I want to talk about is going to be the kick and the bass. And I was able to get like 97% of the original sound because it sounds like almost identical. Listen to mine. And now listen to the reference. Like it's so close. I'm really happy about that. So let's take a look at the bass sound design here. So the patch itself is really simple, and we are going to start with the oscillator 8. So go to analog, basic shapes, and then it's wavetable position 4, so it's going to be the square waveform. So it's going to sound like this from the beginning, and then you want to set the unison to 2 and a bit of detuning here. The next thing is going to be the filter. So on the filter, I've set it about like 136, something like that. Resonance is about 50%, fat 43, drive 20, and it's going to sound like this. Also, we are going to assign the envelope 1 like this, drag and drop, and just add a bit of modulation here, so something like this. So we are getting the sound from the reference track. Pretty nice. The next step is going to be the oscillator beat. So on its own, it's going to be again analog, basic shapes, and the first waveform here. And we are pitching it 1 octave higher. And altogether, it's going to sound like this. And also one important thing is we are going to utilize FM modulation. So select FM from B. And also envelope 1 is going to modulate the amount of FM modulation here. So about like 23%, something like this, okay? Also for the bass, I like setting the random to 0, so it starts with the same phase. Something like this, and that's pretty much the original sound. For the oscillator B, we are also using unison, so 2, again, same settings, okay? One more interesting thing that is happening here is we are using the envelope, LFO 1 to control the pitch modulation. So take a look. So you can hear a bit of modulation here. So you want to make the LFO 1 look something like this. Select the envelope mode and then about like 10 hertz, something like this, okay? Then you want to go to the matrix, LFO 1, and then the destination is going to be the master tuning. And then I've set it to about like 3% or something like this. I think that's enough. And again, sounds like this. Okay, so for the FX section, it's going to be really simple. So the equalizer, we are boosting about like 120, 130 hertz. So about like 3 dB to give it like this nice little bump, which adds a lot of power in my opinion. And then a bit of compression here. So short attack, release could be pretty long as well. And the ratio I've set to 7:1, but then again, you can play with the parameters. I'm just showing you the basics. So that's pretty much it for the patch itself. As you can see, like simple sounds great. And then on the channel, I'm using a bit of side chaining. So about 50%, just to give it a nice like ducking feeling, I'd say. Okay, so now let's take a look at this sound, the Supersaw Sound, like in the original track. So pretty cool. Okay, so let's take a look at the sound here. Oh, did it change? Because for some reason my CPU is getting crazy. Okay, so we're gonna start off with the basic MCB, that's the first waveform, and then you want to set the unison to 16 voices. The detuning is about 0.17. The blend is like 65. Okay, so that's the original sound. The next thing is going to be the noise oscillator, because in the reference track they had this like little bit of a crispy top layer. So I've set it to about 10%. Pretty nice. So the envelope is just as it is from the beginning. We are not changing anything here. So that's it for this one. And then there's one more thing. You want to set the LFO1 to coarse pitch. So just drag and drop like this. So if we go to matrix, it's just about -2. So it's set at -2, and it should be unipolar. So like this, just click, so just one arrow. Then you want to select the envelope mode so it triggers like notes, and then BPM and 1/2 basically, right? So it creates that nice effect, because if we bypass, for example, and with this one, it creates that nice like pitch bend. Okay, so now let's take a look at the effects section and the filters. So for the filter, let me actually remove the effects here so you can hear. So the filter is basically creating the sound. So I've set it about like 1.4. Then again, depending on what kind of sound you want to get here, you can play with it. So the original is like 1.4K. A bit of drive here, and no resonance, and that's band 12. Okay, for the FX section, also pretty simple. A bit of soft clipping here, so soft clip and then drive, just to give it more like crispiness and more power. So for the EQ, we are rolling off the low frequencies at about 140 and 5K here. So you can see low cut, high cut. So we're getting the original sound here. For the chorus, I just played around a bit with settings just like randomly. It just creates like nice modulation, making it sound pretty interesting. So I think about 25% should be nice. Then you can always play around with that. One more thing is going to be the reverb. So it creates that nice tail when the chord or the sound starts to play. And that's pretty much it for this sound. So as you can see, again, like really simple, just one oscillator, and that's it. Also in the build-up,
I give a bomb dust, guaranteed to make it right if your night is a bust.
we have this drone sound, which is basically just the Ableton stock preset magnetic strings. I'm using it like really often in my projects. And now let's take a look at the drop, the drums, and one more synth. I don't know like if it's a synth or vocal or something like this. I just took it from the original track. So to me, it just sounds sort of like a vocal kind of synth, maybe vocal effect. So in terms of the sound design, I don't think it's like really interesting to break down. But what you want to keep in mind and understand is how he's using it. So he's using it together with a kick. It hits together with a kick and it creates nice groove. Pretty nice. So yeah. Okay, now let's talk about the drums. So on the drums, we have a couple of layers. So if you listen to the original track, it's going to be... So listen to the clap. it has that like nice reverb at the background. So here, if you listen to mine, that's like the most tricky part of when you're remaking tracks, because I don't know what sample packs they are using, so I'm just trying to select the sounds that sound like close to the original one, but I might not always be able to get the identical sound, but it's close. So I'm going to show you the technique. So the main thing that he used there is going to be the reverb. So let's take a look at the clap samples. So that's the first one. Just like the noise layer, I'm cutting the low frequencies here. Then the second one, again, same thing. And I'm using just like this part, just the noise. Rolling off the higher frequencies here because we don't need it. Because in the original one, the clap is like, it's pretty dark. Then the third one, again, it's like another noise layer. And the final clap is the classic, the regular clap here. And all together, they sound like really close to the original one. And the whole thing, like the whole like secret, I'd say, is going to be the reverb on the clap channel. Because like this, it's kind of boring. But with this reverb, we're sort of like shaping the sound. So it sounds pretty cool and pretty interesting. So that's it like for the claps. In terms of the hats, he used like classic. Again, I wasn't able to find like the exact same sound, but it's like 90% as in the reference one. So just classic like sort of 99 sound. And there's one hat fill. So if you listen all together here. So it almost like sucks you in and it creates that nice little transition effect here, which is like pretty cool. I like that. So for the hats, again, that's it, like super simple as you can see. And now the last drum layer that we have is going to be the rim shot. I think he used the rim shot. Again, I wasn't just able to find the same sample, so I layered the rim shot with the snare sound, and all together it sounds like this. And we can take a look at the pattern here, like at the groove. One thing that I've done is you can see that there's a little gap here. And on the next one, I moved it a bit forward, which creates that nice like groove, like humanization. So we're just adding that like groove swing. So if we listen, it's gonna sound like this all together. So this one is pretty nice, just like nice fill at the end. So for the drums, that's it. Again, like super simple. As you can see, like it doesn't have to be complicated at all. Now, in terms of the processing, I decided to add a bit of sidechain compression here. Again, just to emphasize the groove, make it duck when the drum hits, the kick drum hits. So without that, it's gonna sound like this. So it's pretty aggressive, but I used just 75% of it. So like it's not 100%, so I'm making it pretty aggressive, but then just using a bit of parallel processing here, and then just a bit of saturation to bring up the high frequencies, make them a bit brighter and fatter. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the drums. And one thing that I want to show you as well is going to be the kick and the bass processing. So without the kick and the processing on the group, sounds pretty good. So I'm just adding a bit of saturation here, just like on the whole group, which makes the kick and the drum glue together, and also adds a bit of harmonics, a bit of the sub, making it more powerful, warmer, and then a bit of compression, like pretty aggressive, like 10-1. Pretty nice. So we can tweak that a bit. Again, according to your taste, You can change the parameters, and that's, I think, pretty much it. Just a bit of compression on the master channel just to shape it so it sounds like in the reference track. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So one of the things that I'm noticing when I'm remaking those tracks is simplicity. Because if you look at the amount of the tracks that we have in this track, it's like 12, and that's like how I group them. Maybe they have like even less. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So again, music doesn't have to be complicated. You can make like catchy and super simple stuff like the right vocal, kick, bass, drums. That's it for the track. So yeah, that's going to be it for this tutorial. I hope that you liked it, and I hope that you learned something new. As always, if you're interested in coaching, all links are down below, and I'll see you in the next video.